would have dreamed that one man's vision could touch so many? Who would have dreamed of the spectacles year after year? And who would have dreamed of all the wonder and delight? Tommy Bartlett, that's who. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on July 11, 1914, Tommy Bartlett may not have immediately known what he was destined for, but by the age of 13, he was well on his way, doing children's radio parts on WISN. By the age of 17, Tommy was an announcer at the #1 rated WBBM radio in Chicago. And by age 19, Tommy had created the famous radio program Meet the Misses, which was later to be syndicated nationally. As the #1 radio personality from 1931 to 1941, announcing as many as 7 soap operas daily, it was easy to see Tommy had found his calling, which is probably why we have him to thank for the invention of the call-in radio talk show format, an idea he came up with during a broadcast in St. Louis, Missouri in 1935. But life for Tommy was not without its ups and downs. By 1941, the 27-year-old was the toast of Chicago. Then, along came World War II. Feeling the need to do his part, Tommy volunteered as a civilian to help with recruitment publicity. Wanting to do more, Tommy set his sights on flying and not only became an accomplished pilot, but a military flight instructor for the war training service as well. All this from a man who never even finished high school. Tommy went on to serve as a Northwest Airlines pilot from 1943 to 1947. But being a showman first and foremost, Tommy returned to radio. He re-established himself on ABC with The Tommy Bartlett Show. Soon after, he created the famous radio program Welcome Travelers. For 9 years, on 400 NBC affiliate stations, Tommy hosted this #1 rated radio show. The show, and of course Tommy, were so successful that CBS Television placed it on their daytime TV lineup. Tommy hosted the television version for another 6 years. Airing on more than 300 CBS affiliates, Tommy was once again the host of a #1 rated show. During one of his programs, Tommy saw a water show in Chicago and recognized it as a novel enough idea to draw in the crowds. Chicago 1948 saw the start of the Tommy Bartlett Water Ski and Jumping Boat Thrill Show, an insurance policy against being unemployed in the fickle radio and television industry, is how Tommy put it. A touring show was started in 1952. The first stop on the tour was in Madison, Wisconsin at the Edgewater Hotel. But the second stop in Wisconsin Dells would prove to be a watershed moment. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Dells Chamber of Commerce, the show was free to the public. With only 2 towboats, 4 outboard jumping boats, and 12 men and women who doubled as skiers, boat drivers, and more, the show was received enthusiastically by a crowd of 1,500 tourists and locals. Soon afterward, Tommy Bartlett was asked to make Wisconsin Dells the permanent site for the show. Of course, he said yes. And since 1953, Wisconsin Dells has been the permanent site of the Tommy Bartlett Thrill Show. In its first year, 4 shows were given daily for an admission price of 75 cents for adults and 25 cents for children. 5 rows of planks and hillside grass seating made up the viewing area, and without any lights, shows were only performed during the day. In its second year, the show's business doubled. In 1955, instead of 4 daytime shows, 1 show was dropped, lights were added, and showtimes became 1 o'clock, 5:30, and 8:30 p.m. 1956 saw the addition of the Dancing Waters. Tommy would continually add new talent to the show. In 1957, the stars of the Lawrence Welk Show performed on a rotating basis. Some of the biggest crowds ever were when the Lennon sisters performed. In 1966, the first covered grandstands were put into place. Since then, only a handful of shows has ever been canceled due to inclement weather. Not forgetting that all this began as a touring show, Tommy took a USO water ski troupe to Southeast Asia in 1959. They delighted audiences in Hawaii, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Guam, and Okinawa. Later, the show became part of President Eisenhower's People-to-People Exchange program, and exposed people in Bangkok, Thailand, and Rangoon, Burma, to water skiing for the first time ever. In 1960, the show performed at the Seattle World's Fair. It was here that a 1-million-gallon water stage was conceived and constructed in 13 days at a cost of $75,000. In 1964, standing room only crowds at the New York World's Fair saw the show. More than 4.8 million people were exposed to water skiing and the Tommy Bartlett Thrill Show. In 1971, SeaWorld of Ohio asked Tommy to bring his thrill show to perform at the world's largest water ski stadium. They were so impressed by what they saw that they asked the show to stay on for an additional 2 years. It was the predecessor to many of the water ski shows performed in amusement and theme parks today. Even Mike Douglas couldn't resist taking his show live on location to see the Tommy Bartlett Thrill Show. The Thrill Show has had many honors bestowed upon it, such as officially opening the International Ocean Exposition in Okinawa at the Japanese Expo of 1975. And at the request of the Chicago Association of Commerce, performing at Navy Pier before 500,000 visitors daily of the Chicago Trade Exposition of 1961, 1962, and 1976. And not only the show, but Tommy Bartlett himself was an audience favorite. For more than 25 years, he was the master of ceremonies for the Calgary Stampede. He also hosted the medal award ceremonies at the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary. For his charismatic presence and consummate showmanship, Tommy received recognition in the form of some very prestigious awards. He was the recipient of the American Broadcasting Association Lifetime Achievement Award. In 1992, he was given the Wisconsin Dells Visitor and Convention Bureau's Lifetime Achievement Award. And in 1993, Tommy received the industry's most prestigious award and was inducted into the Water Ski Hall of Fame at Cypress Gardens, Florida. And through it all, Tommy maintained an active role in the production and direction of his shows until his death. Knowing that Labor Day weekend marks the end of the season for the Thrill Show, as if by will, Tommy passed away on Sunday, September 6, 1998. The very last day of one of the show's best seasons ever. With his passing, we've not only lost a legend, but a friend who dedicated his life to providing the best kind of wholesome family entertainment he knew how. It's what made him Mr. Wisconsin Dells. Although no longer with us in person, Tommy Bartlett left us a big part of himself. His show will continue to delight us and thrill us for many years still to come. So we will continue the tradition and keep his dream alive. And we hope to be saying for a long time to come, in the words of Mr. Tommy Bartlett himself,
It's showtime! Tommy Bartlett showtime!